Only 1% of men ever date their dream girl. It's not because they're billionaires or 7 feet tall. No, this 1% of men avoid the deadly mistakes that 99% of men make. Luckily for you, there's a 5-step blueprint that you can follow to stop making these critical mistakes and find your dream girl. Starting with step number 1.
Social circle degradation. The way most people date is through their social circle, friends of friends. Your friend invites you out somewhere, you get introduced to a new woman, and bang, two of you hit it off. Here's the problem with that. As you get older, once you leave high school and college, you're no longer meeting women through friends of friends because you're just not seeing your friends as often. People grow up, move out of your city, they get jobs, they get girlfriends, get married, and they start to disappear. Especially if you're a successful man, your routine becomes work, gym, repeat. A couple years go by and you get stuck in this treadmill of not meeting new women, and now you have no idea how to because you never learned how to begin with. All of the women you dated basically fell into your lap through your social circle. This is why 99% of men fail on dating apps and never know how to approach girls in person. The truth is, you were only ever dating on easy mode, and as a man, it's in your hands to go and find the right woman. Relying on circumstance and other people is a losing strategy. Dating is a skill, and like any skill, you need to work at it. Real dating skill is being able to generate new interactions and relationships with women who are total strangers to you. Since you are always relying on your social circle, you're suffering from my next point: lack of confidence. Most guys are too self-conscious and stuck in their heads to make the initial move because they're afraid the girl will judge them. The fear of rejection is too strong to get over in that initial moment, and the truth is, that initial moment is all you have. When you see the girl walking down the street, at the mall, Starbucks, the gym, you only get one moment to decide whether or not you're going to make the move and approach her. And the only thing that will decide whether or not you make the first move is courage. Most men have the false belief in their minds that they need to be confident and secure first in order to execute the approach, but this is completely wrong. You can feel awkward and uncomfortable in your own skin and still approach as long as you have enough courage. Remember, anything in life worth having requires risk, and taking a risk requires courage. Public speaking, job interviews, making that sale, asking for that raise. If you think back to times when you have accomplished these things, you were most likely nervous and anxious the entire time, but your courage is what got you to take that initial step. And for most guys, taking that initial step is the hardest part. The brutal, ugly truth is that 99% of you aren't doing that. You're doing my next point, which is rejecting yourself. After going on tons of dates with women that I've met through many of the approaches you've seen on this channel, the most common thing I hear is that they never get approached in person like this. So although there are men out there who are much wealthier than me, make more money, have more success, higher status, wear more expensive outfits and watches than me, they're simply not tapping into this pool of women that I'm able to access because they're not putting themselves in a position to meet them in the first place. No matter who you are or what you gotta own and rock with what you have. And the truth is that right now we're living in a very special moment in time where meeting women in person is a lost art form, something that most men have never done. So if you can garner up the courage to put yourself out there to meet women, to learn what to say and what to do, and how to carry these conversations forward and turn them into dates, you can get access to a pool of women that you would otherwise never have access to, and there's virtually no competition. But the reason most guys won't do it is because of their fear of rejection. They're so afraid of approaching the girl, making the move on the first date, that they reject themselves and they kill any opportunity they could have had. I want you to listen to me closely for a second. If you're afraid of rejection, you have two options. Number one, stop being a pussy and be willing to get rejected and accept the fact that there's no reward without a little bit of risk. Number two, live the rest of your life in deep regret as you stay glued in the exact same position you are in right now. Those are your only two choices, and the truth is you're making these choices every single day, whether you realize it or not. Most guys don't realize that the trajectory they're on is headed towards failure. And the biggest reason for this is my next point: feedback. Dating is one of the only skills where you don't get actionable feedback on what's going wrong. When a girl rejects you, she doesn't tell you exactly what you did wrong to turn her off. The only feedback you get is a girl ignoring your messages or outright rejecting you. And even in those circumstances, when you get the feedback of rejection or being ignored, you have no idea what you did wrong. You have no idea what to fix. You have no clue what's working and what isn't. Here's the problem with that. If you don't know what mistake you made or how to fix it, you're going to keep making that mistake again and again and again, which ultimately means that you're going to miss out on countless opportunities with beautiful women as you fumble around aimlessly trying to figure it out for yourself. And worst of all, you'll be stuck in the same position you are now for months or years. This is the core reason most guys never progress in their dating lives. It's a nearly impossible skill to learn and improve on your own. This is precisely why me and my team developed our private coaching program, The Brotherhood, where we not only hand you the entire blueprint blueprint for generating endless leads in person and on dating apps and converting them into dates and potential relationships, but we also give you direct access to me and my team to give you the feedback and guidance necessary to make sure you're actually executing the blueprint flawlessly and fixing your blind spots. This is the same exact process our client Ben went. Ben was a senior level guy crushing it in private equity, but when it came time to build that romantic man-to-woman vibe on dates, he'd find himself being too nice and landing in the friend zone. He just didn't think it was possible for him to tap into his masculinity with women in a romantic way, especially after just getting out of a long-term relationship. He was very wrong. Within the first 2 weeks using our 3-part system, he was able to land himself 4 dates and had more success than he could handle. His words were, "I'm a man now instead of a people pleaser. I don't put girls on a pedestal, I treat them with respect, but I also take charge," and feels amazing. After reclaiming his confidence and mastering his romantic communication, he chose a nice Italian girl out of his pool of options that he's seeing steady now. You can see his story for yourself below and apply to work with us to get your hands on the same system that transformed his dating life. I share that story with you to highlight how impactful personalized feedback can be. And even if you choose not to work with me, or you choose to do it on your own, the best thing you can do is to work on this skill set with a friend or someone you know who you can run ideas off of, and someone who can give you that second opinion on what you're doing. Because the truth is, if you've been stuck in the same place for weeks, months, or years, you're likely to continue on that trajectory unless you make a drastic change. And if you want to know what that drastic change is, it's often going to require someone else with a fresh pair of eyes to come in and diagnose what's going wrong. After personally working with thousands of guys over the years, these are the lessons and the biggest mistakes I see that hold them back from dating their dream girl. Because the unfortunate truth is that 99% of guys will settle and never date the types of women that they truly could have had they put in the effort and gotten intentional about this area of their life. Hopefully these lessons have opened your eyes and inspired you to get a little bit more serious and approach this area with more intent. I'll see you guys in the next video.